Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shami bin Fauziz, metric number 258470. And in this video, we are going to share and explain about our research. So this study, entitled A Study on Night Sleeping Behavior Among CFS Students, which aims to raise awareness about the importance of getting enough sleep for students' well-being and academic performance. Many CFS students experience sleep deprivation due to staying up late, which affects their focus during classes and leads to poor academic results. So this study also helps reduce the normalization of burning the midnight oil and encourages healthier sleeping habits. The research used a convenient sampling method and involved 100 students, consisting of 28 art students and 72 science students, which overall, the study highlights how proper sleep is essential for better health and concentration, also academic success.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syarul Razali. My metric number is 254313. So, as already mentioned by our group leaders just now, which is Shahmi bin Fauziz, our main problem for today is the significant increase on sleep deprivation among CFS students. And number two, adverse effects on students' focus during classes. And last but not least, negative effect towards their academic performance. Thus, in order to address this issue among our students, the first thing we need to know is whether students here have a good sleep schedule or not. Thus, we came up with the first question, which will be our main variable for today, which is how long do you usually sleep during weekdays? And finally, after from 100 samples, we came out with the data. This is what we have collected. So from this data, we've derived three charts, which is the first one is histogram, and the second one is the ogive chart, and the third one is the frequency polygon. So let's look at this first chart. What is this? So this is actually histogram. From this histogram, we can actually tell that most students sleep within the range of 5.5 hours per night on weekdays to 7.5 hours per night. However, there are some students who sleep less than 5.5 hours per night. Next, we're going to interpret the second chart, which is the ogive chart. Actually, we'll actually come with a similar interpretation with histograms. But what differs it from histogram, it is actually more specific because instead of using the lower boundary and upper boundary, we are actually using the midpoint. So we actually can tell that most students sleep within the range of 6.5 hours per night during weekdays. Thus, from these two charts, we've actually can come up with the pattern of sleep schedule among CFS students. So what is actually the patterns? So if we look at the two charts, we've actually remade. It may look like it is a bell shape, but actually it is not. It is actually right skewed charts. What does it mean? It means there are outliers. So what does it mean by outliers actually? So outliers means that from 100 samples, maybe there are like 5 to 6 students who sleep for more than, let's say, 12 hours to 13 hours per night on weekdays, which is the difference between the sleep hours and the mean of our data is really significant. That's what makes it is as outliers. And finally, we have the frequency polygon. So let's interpret this frequency polygon. So the graph starts at 0 for 3.5 hours. Then it rises slowly at first, reaching about more than 30 students by 5.5 hours. Then the line goes up steeply, showing that a large number of students sleep between 5.5 until 7.5 hours, just like how we interpret histograms just now. After that, the line goes flat at top, which indicates that almost every student sleep less than 9.5 hours. So right now, let's go to the calculation. So the first one, we have our mean. So what is the mean of our data? So the mean is 6.02. And then let's go to the median, which is when we arrange the data. This is the middle value. What is it? It is 6.10. And then we have the mode, which is the data that has most frequency, which is 6.21. And then we have our variance, which is 1.54. And last but not least, we have our standard deviation, which is 1.24. So what does actually this mean, this median, and this mode tells us. So when we arrange between mean, median, and mode, we can see that mean is actually the least value among these three categories. So from this, actually we can already interpret that they are outliers because it what caused the mean to be the least value within these three categories. So right now, let's talk about the variance. So what does 1.54 tells us? So this tells us that the data is well distributed and then there's no extreme fluctuations in our data. And then it also means that the data or the values of our research it differs 1.54 from our mean. And last but not least, 1.24 of the standard deviation tells us that our data is consistent, which means our data, the difference between our data and the most value is actually 1.24. And that's all from me. Let's go to the next member.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Daniel Iskandar Muhammad Shahrin and my metric number is 251576. And today I'll be explaining about our topic. Firstly, for question 2, this pie chart shows the distribution of respondents based on their current course. From the chart, we can see that the majority of respondents are from the science course, which makes up 72.3% of the total respondents. This means that approximately 72 out of 100 students involved in the survey are science students. On the other hand, art students represent 27.7% of their respondents, which is about 28 students. This indicates that the survey data is mainly dominated by science students. Therefore, the overall finding may reflect science student lifestyle and routine more strongly compared to art students. This difference is this difference in proportion is important because science students may experience heavier workload involving frequent revision, assignment, and study session, which could affect their sleeping time. Moving on to question 3, this histogram shows the distribution of the number of hours students usually sleep per night during weekends. Based on the histogram, the highest frequency is found in the class interval is 5.5 to 7.5 hours. This means most students sleep between 5.5 and 7.5 hours during weekend, making it the model class. It suggests that most students obtain a moderate to adequate amount of sleep during weekend. After 7.5 hours, we can observe that the frequency starts to decrease gradually. Only a smaller number of students sleep more than 9.5 hours, which shows that long sleeping hours happen, but not for the most students. At the same time, we can also see that very few students sleep less than 3.5 hours, indicating that extremely short sleeping duration are uncommon on weekends. Overall, the distribution of the histogram is right skewed because the tail extends toward the higher sleeping hours. This means most of the students are clustered around the middle sleeping hours, but a small proportion of students tend to sleep much longer. In conclusion, this histogram suggests that students generally use weekends to recover from sleep deprivation during weekdays, leading to longer and more consistent sleeping duration. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Amir bin Ahmad Mukhtar. My matrix number is 253184. Today, I will be explaining the results from two pie charts related to CFS students stay up late. Okay. The first pie chart here shows that several reasons students stay up late, where the main reason is students' mobile phone screen time. Students usually use their mobile phones to scroll social media and play video games for long hours at night. This forms the largest proportion and indicates that most students stay awake late due to entertainment and excessive gadget use. The second most common reason is college work demand, followed by late night studying or revision, showing that academic responsibilities do contribute to the results but are not the primary factor.
Moving on to the second pie chart, it shows whether students stay up late or sleep early, where 74% of students stay up late, while only 26% sleep early. This clearly indicates that staying up late is a common habit among CFS students. The high percentage of students stay up late may be linked to screen time and academic workload, while students who sleep early may have better time management skills and prioritize rest. That is all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adam Daniel bin Muhammad Shaili Aisham.
metric number 250091. I'll be covering question number 6, which is a survey on number of times students feel sleepy or doze off during lectures. So, according to this pie chart, it shows how often students feel sleepy or doze off during lectures in a week. Most students, about 75.2%, reported feeling sleepy 1 to 3 times a week, making it the most common category. This is followed by 18.8% of students who feel sleepy 4 to 6 times a week. Only a small number of students experience sleepiness more often, with 4% feeling sleepy 7 to 9 times a week and just 2% reporting 10 to 12 times a week. Overall, this suggests that occasional sleepiness is common and might slightly affect attention during class. On the other hand, those who feel sleepy more often could find it harder to stay focused and participate, which might impact their overall performance. The data highlights how important it is for students to get enough rest to stay alert and engaged in lectures. So, in conclusion, this study shows that most CFS students sleep 5 to 7 hours on weekdays, with an average of about 6 hours, which is below the recommended amount. Although the data is fairly consistent, it indicates that many students may be experiencing insufficient sleep. On weekends, students tend to sleep longer, suggesting that they use this time to recover from weekday sleep deprivation. The majority of students stay up late mainly due to excessive screen time rather than academic pressure. This habit contributes to frequent sleepiness during lectures, which can negatively affect focus in academic performance. Overall, the findings highlight the importance of healthier sleep habits, better time management, and reduced screen usage to improve students' well-being and learning effectiveness.
And with that,
We end our presentation with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.